inside Gaza. But what happened next is a story you have to hear to believe. But before we get started, my friend, what was your opinion of Christians and Jews growing up?
Okay, I had born and raised in Qatar, and my father is one of the founders of Hamas. So my father and my mom, they raised us to hate Israel and hate Jewish, hate Christian, and even hate the Shia, the Muslim, the Shia, and hate everyone who's not belong to Hamas and curse them. And yeah, I just want to say sorry, but we used to curse all the Christian and the Jewish. We feel like we should kill them because this is what Quran say. Yeah, I know it's crazy, but we used to believe in Islam, like we should kill all the Jewish, and even Jesus will come back and fighting with us, and he will break the cross and kill the pig, and the trees and the rock will call the Muslim and say, "Oh, Muslim, there's a Jewish behind me, come and kill." So it's crazy.
Wow. So your father was one of the founding members of Hamas. You were eventually married to a Hamas member inside Gaza. How did you come to know Jesus?
Okay, I've been married for 13 years in Gaza, but it was between 2002, I moved to Gaza. And in 2012, I started having questioning because I saw what Hamas doing in Gaza when they take on control. They said, like, we're coming here to make everyone equality, and they give people promises, and nothing happened. And they've been like, they said, we hate Fatah. Fatah is the organization was in control in Gaza before Hamas. And they asked people to give them their vote in the elections. And I gave my vote to Hamas. I'm sorry for this, but I did this in 2007, I think, or 2006. But they just make Gaza more worse, and they start killing the Palestinians. They start to make us feeling, you know, if you are not belong to Hamas, you should be scared. But I keep like thinking, and that time ISIS is showing, and they've been killing a lot of people, Muslims people. And I feel like something wrong with this religion. And, you know, maybe I just jumping, like, because I raised in Islam, I never been satisfied with God. I never been, like, I feel God will never be happy on me. I don't have any guarantee to go to Jannah. I'm always scared from hell. I'm always scared when they put me on my grave, there's a snake coming to make me suffering. And so Islam is not give you peace, and you're always scared something wrong will happen. Like, oh, I did this prayer, maybe God didn't accept it from me. I have to do like more and more. So I start thinking, and there's someone, he's close to me. I don't want to mention his name because his safety. He told me he become an atheist, and he asked me to read the Quran without holiness, like a regular book. Because, you know, the Quran is all about killing. It's all about Muhammad's story when he married his son, and he had a son. He adopted a son, and then he decided to marry his wife. So he said, like, Allah sent a verse in Quran, ask his son to divorce his wife, and Muhammad will take her. And so I feel like, okay, Quran does not make sense, and it will never be that God of Quran is the real God, because it's psychopath God, and nothing makes sense for me in Quran. So I feel like, okay, I didn't believe there is no God. I didn't become an atheist, but I've been like praying every single day. God, if you exist, I want to know you. I want to meet you, because I know deep inside there is a God. I couldn't believe, like, this is, you know, the universe, that everything. And when I was praying for God, like, to heal, he healed my children, like they almost died. And I had something, like, I know there's a God. And I started to pray, like, from 2012 till 2014. There was a war between Hamas and Israel. And I remember the IDF called my ex-husband, and they asked him to call my neighbors because they want to bomb their home. And he told him, like, oh, no one is home. Because Israel is caring for the civilians' life. They're calling people before they bomb their houses. They are not killing the houses randomly. So in that night, they bombed our neighbor's house. And it was so scary for me. I feel like, oh, I will die soon. So I've been crying a lot in that night. I said, God, if you exist, please, I want to know you. I want to call your name. I want you to save me. So in that night, I was dreaming, and I saw myself with my mom, and my mom passed away in 2005, and that was in 2014. I saw my mom, and we've been sitting in a balcony, and the moon was so big and come closer to us. And my mom asked me to look at the moon, and I saw Jesus' face coming out the moon. And he was speak to me in Arabic, and he said, "Ana Rab Yeshua," like I'm the God Jesus. And he was talking to me. But what I'm remembering, he was say, "Inti binti ma tkhafi." You are my daughter. Don't be afraid. So I feel like, okay. When I woke up, I feel like maybe it's just take a second, but I feel like there is a moment. I feel like there's a light in the room, something like, oh, this is real. So I never heard about Yeshua's name before because we call him Isa in Quran. I never been with the Christian people. Like my community is 100% Islam. Like when I was in Qatar in the schools, it's 100% Islam. And like my activities was like going to the Islamic center and memorization Quran. And I never met Christian people in my life to see like people come and told me about Jesus. No one told me about him before. But when I heard the name, I feel like it's a beautiful name and he's a beautiful God. And I feel peace inside my heart. It's like for the first time, I feel like someone's loved me. Like, oh, someone's loved me because I never feel loved with my family. Like, because I don't hate them. I love my family, but being Muslim, you don't have peace, because God is always mad about Muslims. God's always mad. So, yeah, I feel like someone's loved me. So I started to search about his name in Google and I found a Christian page. It's Egyptian Christian. And I tried to, like, when I opened this page, the first verse come to my face, it's love your enemies. And Jesus, I said, oh, who said love your enemies? Like in Quran said, like, we should kill all the Jewish, we should kill all the Christian, or make them paying jizya. Like, who asked to love the enemies? Like, it's crazy, it's like, so I start to sending messages for this page. And the admin, I didn't know if she's a woman or a man till now, but I will say it's she, but she asked me to read the Bible. And she told me there's thousands of Muslims are now seeing Jesus in their dreams and converting to Christianity. She said, you are not the first one. I feel like, okay, that's cool, because I thought it's only me, when I start to think. And the funniest thing, before I become a Christian and I saw Jesus, like when I heard someone become a Christian, converting to Christian, I feel like, oh, he will go to hell definitely. This guy, like, so now it's me, like accepting Jesus in my life. And I started the journey with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What an amazing, incredible testimony. I mean, wow. Praise God. Praise the risen King Yeshua. I had goosebumps. I'm like trying not to cry hearing your testimony. That's so unbelievably powerful. We're going to have you back on for episode 1, 2, and 3, because you have just so much to share. Let me ask you a few more questions. You said your dad was one of the founding members of Hamas. What's your dad's name?
His name is Abu Ja'far. They call him Abu Ja'far. His real name is Muhammad Khawasmi. But like, because my oldest brother, his name is Ja'far, they called him Abu Ja'far al-Khawasmi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this. When you were saved and Yeshua showed up to you and it transformed your life, I can feel the joy of the Lord resonating off of you. The Holy Spirit is strong inside of you, my friend. But when you were saved and then you looked at your ex-husband who's a member of Hamas, your dad who's a member of Hamas in general, how did that change the way you view what's happening in Gaza?
Yeah, because what's happening in Gaza, it's all about Hamas. Hamas always is starting to make troubles. Like, we've been in peace till Intifada is happening. And we call I know I'm Palestinian. I have a Palestinian ID. It's like, I still have my Palestinian ID. Like, so, but I know the right for Jewish, it's their promised land. I read the Bible. And even in Quran, it's never mentioned Palestine. It's the land for Bani Israel. And they said, okay, it's our land and we should kick all the Jewish. And I remember my grandma said she was living with her Jewish neighbor and they've been living love and peace. Like, we've been living peace. But when Hamas start to make troubles and every time we have peace and they start to send rockets, attack Israel with the rockets. So that's why Israel started to bombing. But before this, like, nothing was happening. And I remember, like, after the war in 2008, Israel sent money to rebuild Gaza. And they promised Gaza's people, Gaza will be like a Singapore, but just let's have peace. But they doesn't want to have peace. They just want to kill and make people suffering and stay on control and having all the money is coming out from outside. And I remember, like, when my ex-husband was talking, he was not talking to me. He was talking, like, for his uncles and his friends. And he said, oh, now we are building a city under a city. So they took all the money is coming to rebuild Gaza, and they just built the tunnels, and there's a real city under a city. But they never built a shelter for people, for children. Never. No, there's no one shelter in Gaza. It's all about the tunnels. It's all for Hamas. They are hiding now, and they just let people to die and use the human and children like human shield. They doesn't care for our life. They just care for their position and their power, and they just want to stay strong and they want to stay on control, but they doesn't care for our lives, unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah.